Now, although the attempt to do this fried liver attack is far more sophisticated than Scholar's Mate, it still represents a slight violation of principle by white, because after knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, this move does move a piece twice in the opening, which in open games is very dangerous. And although the position is really just very rich and very complicated, I mean, nobody's agreed who's better here, there is this element of suspicion over knight g5. And if black knows what he's doing, he can throw back a whole bunch of tricks at white. And this is why the move tends not to be that popular at GM level. There's just so much black can do. For example, instead of playing d5, he can play the Wilkes-Barre variation with bishop out to c5, which is very, very complicated. Black's getting ready to sacrifice on f2 and all sorts of things. And after d5 too, then when white takes, there's no need to recapture here with the knight. You can instead play a variety of moves, such as knight a5, which is the main line, and you can also play the move b5, very surprising move. Then the idea is that if white takes this, black takes on d5, attacking the bishop and the pawn on g2. So that's also very dangerous. And in this game, we're going to look at another possibility for black, very tricky move also, and that's just to bring the knight to d4. And now in this position, then the best that white can do may be this move, c3, attacking them and the knight immediately. But that is incredibly complicated, a whole bunch of tricks. And if white doesn't know exactly what he's doing, then he can easily lose very, very quickly. And this is why most white players are afraid to go into this kind of thing. It's just too complicated, too much black can throw at it. Now, in this game, he plays what looks like a very natural move. He plays his knight out to c3. What could possibly be wrong with that? Well, black replies with this move, h6, and now white brings his knight back to e4. Again, looks perfectly logical. White is a pawn up, and he's trying to exchange some pieces. But already this is a mistake, and now black gets a very strong initiative. And in fact, white should probably bring the knight back to this square instead, knight f3. At first sight, this looks as if it has to be worse than knight to e4, because black can pin. Well, okay, white can then unpin, and probably now black should play this move, attacking c2, and then when white goes here, black should probably do this, and I think he gets a pretty good game with nice open play for his pieces. Now, instead, knight g4 looks so natural, such a normal move. You know, you wouldn't believe that black could now get a very strong initiative, but he does knight takes e4. White's got to take back, of course. Then he brings the queen out to h4, attacking this knight. Well, okay, white protects it and gets ready to develop this bishop somewhere, probably to e3. But then black plays this move, bishop out to g4. Well, white can't play f3, of course, because the f-pawn is pinned against his king. So he goes queen to d2. And then, astonishingly, black plays this move. And this is a really unpleasant move. I mean, of course, white can't take, because this would fork his king and queen. But you wonder what would happen, for example, if he just castled. I mean, what can be wrong with castling? Well, it loses on the spot, astonishingly, to this. Knight here check. King has to go here. And then there's this absolutely evil move, queen to h3. And I mean, if you take the bishop now, then queen takes pawn mate. And if you go here, then black can simply take this off. And queen h3 just leaves white's position totally lost. It's just winning on the spot. So what white's other option, bishop f3, think, well, maybe he can go king f1 if we can't castle. Perhaps we can go there. But that's also bad, because black can then play this way, goes b5, attacking this bishop, and when the bishop goes back, he can then play f5. Well, knight comes back here, and then f4, and let's say the knight comes here, and then he can go here, check, and when the king comes here, he plays this. And this is a tremendously strong attack for black, I'd say, winning actually. And so king f1 isn't good enough either. Well, this explains why after bishop f3, white now played this check, kind of desperate. I mean, what he's hoping for is the knight to take, and then he would be able to take the bishop off and he'd be all right. But what happens instead is that black goes here, and white takes it. And now black castles queenside, just getting more and more development, more and more pieces into the game. And so after castles queenside, white takes here, check, he takes everything. Black goes king to b8, and then white thinks, well, I better get this bishop out of the way because black wants to take here and everything, so he plays bishop to a6. But then black just takes this off, so rook g1, he'll go here, check, and white actually played this move instead. All very desperate stuff. And now black just went back here after the queen here, then he took the rook, and now he's threatening knight f3 check as well. And white in this position decides to throw in the towel. Now this is just a sample of the tricks that black can throw back at white if he attempts this this fried liver. E takes d5, knight takes d5, knight takes f7, or better still, to play d4. And it's why people tend to outgrow knight g5. Up to a certain level it succeeds because of black's ignorance about what he should play. It's a higher level than the scholar's mate, but still it's something of just a trick. You know, I mean, some players would disagree with that, of course, because they think knight g5, d5 is very interesting for white. Well, it is, but there's a lot of stuff black can do in reply. And so as players develop, they get an ever-increasing degree of sophistication. And what we're going to look at now is a trap in the Rey Lopez or Spanish opening, which comes from some very mature play. You know, it's not something that occurs in under 14 championships or whatever. This is a grandmaster opening, but still f7 is an issue.